Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. It is very hot here in South Australia today. I think it's 38 degrees, so I'm inside trying to stay cool. So I have here a flip through of my creative design team project for Tracie Fox. And for this one, I'm highlighting her Birds, Glorious Birds kit. And my, oh my, they are glorious. The colours in this kit are just beautiful. And it's in the traveller's notebook style with the pages, and then it has stacks and stacks of ephemera. So I printed out the whole kit, but I've only used really a bit of it, so I'll be able to make a lot more journals with what I've printed out, which will be great. Okay, so we will get into it. The cover is this corrugated card. Yeah, it's more like a corrugated cardstock, sort of. It's not very thick. I did find a bit of a roll of it in the second-hand shop one day, and I brought it home. I thought it looked quite shabby chic. And I decided I'd like to try and use that for a cover. So I don't usually do soft covers. I usually use the book covers, so this is something a bit different for me. Yeah, so it feels like it's spring-loaded because it's quite full. It's just a single signature, but yeah, it's getting pretty chunky. So the covers, they're cardboard, and then I sandwiched some curtain lace in between the cardboard and a windowed file folder that you'll see when I open it up. So on the spine, I've sewn the signatures in with a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, and then I have stuck this lace over the spine just to reinforce it mostly. And under that, I have stuck some seam binding. It's avocado dyed seam binding. Same with the lace. I've got a few of my avocado dyed bits here, which I did for another project, and I'm still using up the bits and pieces. So I've just tied that in a bow. Okay, so on the front I have some different curtain lace that I've layered underneath. A button with some lace tied through it, and another few buttons here with some of my scrap string in it. It's the string that I use to bind. I keep all the scrap end bits and try and use them up. There's also peeking out here some of the cotton frizz, I think it is, from Which Craft Do You Do. Absolutely beautiful, and it went really nicely in this project. So on the front, I've got some envelopes. I made a bit of an envelope flip, which is a new thing for me to do for the front. I was just going to stick the picture on the front, but then I thought, no, it'd be nice to add a bit more room to put bits and pieces. So I put one of the beautiful birds from the kit on the front of an envelope, put an eyelet in, and this just holds closed with a bulb pin, which I've just stuck through the curtain lace and my seam binding there. So you can just undo the pin, and then I do it back up so I don't stab myself or lose it, and you can open up the envelope. So I've done a bit of stamping here and there in this, and for that I've used the Which Craft Do You Do Miller and French stamp set, and I've also used a few times I've used Lorna Taylor's La Mode stamp set as well. I'll link everything down below just in case you want to check it out. So I've got a little pocket in the front. So this is an envelope, and I've covered it with tea-dyed paper. A bit of a kit offcut makes a pocket here, and I've put one of my playing cards in with the blue ribbon. And then it's a pocket in the top here too. And in that I've got this greeting card that I had hanging around. I'm trying to use up stuff like we all are. And that slips into this envelope. And then on the other side I've got another envelope here, and in that one I've backed it with some music paper, but I've just put this tea-dyed index card. And I think what I'll probably do is write a little note on there for the recipient. And then they can fill it up with whatever they like. Just a bit of collaging on that. And then you can close that back up, which I will do before we go further. So yeah, you can just stick the bulb pin through the closure there. It's a little fiddly to close. There we go. So then we'll open this up, and yes, once you undo it, you can see it's rather chunky, which I don't particularly like, but wanted to do single signature, and yeah, I wanted to put things in it. So now you can see on the edge here that I used some, I've got a roll of bandage, sticky bandage stuff. And I like the colour of it, so I've used that to do 3 of these tabs, and on those I've attached a bulb pin and a little gold charm. So I have a little bird, a little dragonfly and a music note. So we'll get into it. So here on the inside you will see I have the windowed file folder, and I've just put some broderie englaze around that to embellish it a bit. So on the inside of that, I have stuck a page from a British bird book that I have inked up. And I did do a video on making some of the pieces, and this is one of the pieces, and that's a writing board. So you can then go and put that under your pages and do inking or painting or whatever you want. And because I've laminated the writing board, you can just wipe it clean if you want to. Beautiful picture. I mean, that doesn't need any embellishment, so I thought that was perfect to put in here. Keeps it nice and smooth when you want to lean and write on it. So that's the back with my inking and the Miller and French stamps again. So that just slips into this pocket. So that is how I constructed the cover. It's got the file folder, the lace, curtain lace, and then my corrugated board, and I sewed them together, and that seemed to make a nice sturdy cover piece for me. That just slips in there. So I have used the TN pages and cut them, and I've adhered them mostly to wallpaper. I have some more of your beigey, bland sort of wallpaper here. And it's so nice and sturdy. I've used that as a page and then attached the kit papers to it. I've roughed up the edges on them and inked them up. This one I did a bit of layering with kit pieces. And then I created just this little scrappy journal card with a flower from a book page, and it's backed onto manila folder. Used manila folder to back most of the pieces in this. And I just used scrap laces here and there. Put lace on the front and back page just to cover up the fact as usual that my pages aren't even. Trick of the trade, isn't it? Here I've got another layered up piece from the kit and one of the beautiful tags. And I just put that in like that. And then I used one of my recycled little clothing tag, and it had a price written on it that was a bit messy, so I just covered it in book page and then stamped it with this beautiful £1 stamp that I'm pretty sure that Kylie's Card Craft sent that to me, so thank you, Kylie. It's lovely. Over this page I've put this envelope that I had in my stash, which I embellished, and that's held on by my gold paper clip. It's quite a flimsy envelope, but I don't know if you'll be able to see, there's some really light stamping there, and that's the La Mode stamp from TaylorMade Journals. And on the inside I've just put a piece of paper that can be journaled on. Then I embellished the front with lace, book page, some of my stamped upholstery fabric that I did ages ago. Thought I'd use some of that up. Yeah, just paper clip that on so that can be removed. Got some, I think it's 1950s garden magazine page. Beautiful paper with one of the fussy cuts from the kit. So it's tea-dyed paper for writing on. It's another one of my wallpaper pages. And I love the kit because it has like the birds, and then a lot of the pages have these sort of more blank pieces which can be journaled on, so I've left them like that for journaling. It's a paper bag. I've done some inking and some book page, a fussy cut out of a book. And then in that pocket is this. It's just the front of a greeting card that I had here. I just think that is beautiful, and what a gorgeous journal card that makes. So that slips in there. There's plenty of room in there to put more bits and pieces. So this is a Kofi filter. I've just done some collaging with my scraps, and I have been able to stick in there a few of the kit pieces. Some beautiful little journal tags. So that one slips in there, and then there's a front pocket here. Done a little thumb notch there so you can see that you can slip something in there, and then I've just cut a bit off of here so you can see that it's a pocket there as well. Then this is the dust cover of this second book of British Birds and the Nests. If you've been watching my hauls, you would have seen in a book haul recently that I got. So I think it's the set of 3 of these books, and they are so beautiful. So I thought their dust cover would go beautiful in this because the flowers look very similar to the ones in the kit. And I just sewed these side bits over to create a pocket. So this is a journal card I made with one of my tea-dyed index cards. I did a whole lot of inking. I used the La Mode stamps on that, one of the fussy cuts, and got rid of some of my scrap threads, which is always a good thing. I seem to stick them everywhere I can these days. I love how the oxides bleed through, so you get a bit of colour on the back, but it's nice and light, so you can write over the top of it. So one of my avocado dyed envelopes, and in there I've got a kit tag. And I've got a little label on. So I also used the rather random mix labels to decorate some of my bits in here as well. And I've done some stenciling. Then at the back, Tracie recently put out a freebie on her Kofi, which is the Layered Bird freebie. Layered Bird freebies, yeah. And I've used this background tag from that, and I've done another tag, which I'll show you a bit later on with that as well. I just did some stamping on this and used some of my bandage and some of the coloured cheesecloth from Which Crafter You Do, which I love using. That slips down behind this envelope. Wanted to keep that tag quite plain so it fits nicely in there. This is just some card from a book that I have. So I thought I would do some texture paste, I think that's modelling paste, over the text there, and then add some journaling space, map page of Europe, and that's how I'm attaching my little dangles. It's on the bandage tabs. Bit more stamping. That's just been ripped out of a bird book. Might be the same bird book that I got the dust cover from that came out of. And I stick little bits of lace everywhere. I just like using them up. So that's one of the pages out of the bird book. It's just beautiful. Bit of stamping and just added some book page. Lots of writing space there. So that's the centre of the signature. And you can see that I left the ties along and just added some beads. So they were just off of some broken jewellery. If you wanted to, you can dangle them over the top as well if you don't want them hanging down the bottom. Beautiful swallows. So one of the belly bands I did for the little bits of lace collaboration. Love making those, they're a lot of fun to make. And then I have this. So what I'll do is take this paper clip off so I can show you a bit better. So in here is another one of the beautiful book pages that I've backed with some tea-dyed paper. And that slips under the belly band. And the belly band holds it in there well. It's just that I'm using the paper clip to hold the little pocket that's on the other side, so I figure it might as well hold that in as well. So this is one of your cutlery pockets that I have stacks of. Every time I go out to lunch most fortnights with a work colleague, and she always gives me hers, and I keep mine and stash it away in my handbag, so I must get using them. So I've just covered it with scraps of text paper and music paper and that. Beautiful picture from the kit. I've done a bit of inking, bit of the cheesecloth, and the label. And then in there is the bookmark that I made on a previous video. That's got the La Mode stamp as well on it. So that slips in there. And then on the back I've done some plain papers that can be written on and a bit more inking and stamping. It's a little bit heavy, so whoever gets this is welcome to take that out if they feel the need. So I just clip that on, and as I said in the process, it also holds onto that journal card. Some beautiful tea-dyed paper with the pizza tray. It's the other side of that. It's like brown craft cardstock, and it was in an art book. I kept all the pages of that because they're great to use. Some of my embossed paper, so I handmade this paper and then embossed it with the avocado mix. Just done scrappy lace piece there. Another one of the gorgeous tags. And then I used my circle punch to punch one of the pictures out. That was one of the embellishments. It's a bigger circle. I had to make it a bit smaller to fit it onto this little tag. And I've put an eyelet in and then used some of my scrap twine to hang on to it there. And then I tied it in a bow, and I'm using the bow as a bit of a decoration here so you can see the eyelet there. So a top tuck there with the scrap. That's just got this brown paper, which I think looks nice against that page. So it's the other side of the dust jacket, and in there I have this paper. I'm not sure where I got that from. It might have come from the cheap shop when I bought a random pack of papers, but it's like handmade paper and it's really nice. I like the colour of that. Put that in there. And then this, it's a bit discoloured and wrinkled, but it came out of, someone must have used it as a bookmark in one of the books that I got. And it's just a beautiful picture, so I've put that in as well. I don't mind wrinkles and discoloration and that. It's just nice to be able to reuse these things. So a bit of a collage on the back of that. Stuck some graph paper on the other side of the paper bag just to make it easier to write on. And in here is the layered tag that I made with Tracie's Layered Bird Freebie. Love the way that turned out, and that was so much fun to make. A bit of inking and fabric ruffle. It was funny with the ruffle because I have a tendency to do everything a bit too neat. And when I went to sew it, I was telling myself, try and sew it messy, try and sew it messy. And then there must have been something wrong with my sewing machine. I don't know whether the bobber wasn't hooked properly or something, and it was going so wonky. And I got a bit stressed, and I thought, no, just keep sewing like that, because it turned out really messy, which was good. So, yeah. And then, of course, I stuck some of the threads here and there just to get rid of them. So that fits nicely in here. And again, there's heaps of room in these paper bags to fit a whole pile of stuff. Some more of the modelling paste. Beautiful picture. I love this picture, so I thought I'd put it there. So you can see, I don't know, whoever's used those proper distressing tools, sometimes they get a bit keen and do a good rip, but I just went with it, which is hard for me. So I'm proud of myself. Now, this is an offcut of the file folder that I used for the cover. I thought I might as well use that as a pocket and a belly band. So I've just added a bit of scrap lace and some of my embossed paper there, which creates a little pocket for this little tag. And that can be written on. And then it's a pocket in here, so I've done a thumb notch so that you can see it's a pocket in there. And in there I've got just this piece of book page, and it's Return of the Swallow, and it has a bit of a poem there and that. And on the other side it's blank, so great to be written on. And that does slip into this little pocket here. And then behind it, I have an index card, which I did have to cut down a bit. It's one of those huge ones. It's avocado dyed. So heaps more writing room. Now, I think there is a fold, a bit folded up on the other side of this, which makes it a bit tricky to get this in at times, but it does go under there. bit of doily. This was another greeting card and it was very wrinkled, so I just cut it down so we had the beautiful picture. So there is a bit of a wrinkle and crease there, but I really love it, so I've put that in. The back page, beautiful kit page. I've made a wallpaper pocket. Put some more of my avocado dyed broderie on glaze on there, and then in there is one of the beautiful journaling cards. And this spool, which I've had sitting around forever. I made these ages ago, so they're spools that I die cut out of packaging, and I topped them with some text page and some napkin. And I thought this one was beautiful with the hummingbird on it, so I've put that in as well. And then beautiful kit page here. I just love the colours. And then you've got the back of the file folder and it's got lines on it. I thought that was great writing room. And then just in case you don't have enough writing room in the journal, I made this on my last video regarding this project as well, which is a little scrappy notepad. So it has one of my faux glue gun seals with a illuminated letter with the letter B in there for birds, of course. And you open that up, got some beautiful fabric, and then lots of pages, scrappy off-cut pages to be written on. And then I backed it with music page. And then the back, the back's manila folder, and I've inked that like I did with the writing board as well, and used the Miller and French stamp set and some of my embossed paper. So that is it. It's just a little one, but it was so much fun to make. Massive thank you to Tracie for that kit and the freebie. They were beautiful and so much fun to use. So I've got heaps, like I said, of it left over to be able to play around with. So I hope you enjoyed that. So do check out what the other creative design team members have been making. There is a link down below. There's also links to the kits that I've used in this, plus the other bits and pieces that I have pointed out. Take care of yourself, be good, and I will see you again soon. Bye.